MAGA politicians love to say government needs to be run like a business. We need to run government like a business. We need to cut all the fat and maximize profits. This is so stupid because government is to provide services and not think about profit. We have to put public safety at the very front and center of all government agencies. But MAGA immediately goes dirty with this tragedy. The floods I'm talking about in Texas that killed children. And I think there's still like over 100 people missing, 100 people dead that were just having their summer because the government defunded National Weather Services. But what does Charlie Kirk do? Charlie Kirk blames Black people, of course. Play the clip.
Democrats are so despicable. The Democrats are not lifting a finger to remember the well over 100 people that have died in Texas Hill Country. What you are not being told by the media anywhere is that the death toll likely would not have been as high if it wasn't for DEI. This Texas tragedy is just the latest example. It's not just incompetence.
This is what they immediately do. This is the MAGA playbook. They immediately go dirty and they immediately start demonizing minorities and Black people. This is a government, the state of Texas, that is predominantly white men. It was predominantly white men in the Trump administration that defunded the National Weather Services via DOGE and all of these harebrained cuts. And these people just try to control the narrative all the time and say the Democrats are going to politicize it. And the Democrats, they should be front and center right now, screaming, demanding what cuts were made, who authorized them, and why. If this were Biden or Obama and this happened, you can bet your sweet ass Fox would be going bananas. Charlie Kirk would be going bananas. But what do? They reach for this. Let's blame the Black people because our base is so racist. They'll like this.
I saw a tweet not long ago from Charlie Kirk that said Ketanji Brown Jackson was a DEI hire because she was the only Black woman on the Supreme Court. And I audibly gasped. And I thought, even racists, he is too far for racists. And then for him to get on and politicize the tragedy and make it the fault of Black and brown people, it should make even the most heinous racist blush. He is a stain on everything that is good about the United States of America. This is absolutely abhorrent.
I appreciate the defense of racists, but they're incapable of blushing. He is speaking to his base. There is no blushing. There is just a Pavlovian style affect when they hear this. Their mouth waters. They like it. They don't have to blame white people. They can blame Black people. We can offer no excuses whatsoever for racist. When he talks about the Supreme Court Justice Jackson, 100%, they like it. There's no blushing. They are all chips in on blaming Black people. It's important that we really, really, really understand how racist a lot of this MAGA base is, because that's why they do all of this stuff with impunity. Next up, we have Governor Abbott. I guess he thinks when he's on national television that all of us are as stupid as his base. Play the clip.
An investigation. We know a special session's coming in about 10 days. That's where I would say where it begins. Candidly, those investigations will begin by both the House and Senate before we go into session. So probably beginning later this week or the early part of next week, there'll be committees formed that are already kind of working on ideas about ways to address this. Second part of the question needs to be addressed. You ask, and I'm going to use your words, who's to blame? Know this. That's the word choice of losers. Let me explain one thing about Texas, and that is Texas, every square inch of our state cares about football. You could be in Hunt, Texas, Huntsville, Texas, Houston, Texas, any size community, they care about football. High school, Friday night lights, college football, or pro. And know this, every football team makes mistakes. The losing teams are the ones that try to point out who's to blame. The championship teams are the ones that say, don't worry about it, man, we got this. We're going to make sure that we go score again, that we're going to win this game.
Okay, I've heard enough. This is so stupid and dangerous. Nothing about running emergency services and keeping the public safe has a goddamn thing to do with football and trying to say everybody in Texas cares so much about football and comparing a losing team to the deaths of children. I'll tell you what, smart people look at a tragedy like this and they say, how can we prevent it in the future? I'll give you an example. Gun violence. They had gun violence in Australia. Smart government said, we never want to have this again. What did they do? They instituted severe gun limitations in their country, and they haven't had a mass shooting since. What do we do here? Thoughts and prayers and football games and coach style locker room talk when there are kids that are dead because they defunded emergency services and weather predictions.
He is absolutely the biggest hypocrite on the planet. And here's what I have to say about all this. His government is now politicizing this tragedy to run more bad legislation through Texas. Gerrymandering. That's what he's using this tragedy for. And I look at this tragedy and I think, will this wake people up to the fact that the government needs to be run like a protection for agency for their citizens? Or are they going to continue down this road? And then, like you said, I look at the gun violence situation. I don't think they're going to take any lessons from this. But make no mistake, the reason we are in this predicament is because of Donald Trump and his incompetent and corrupt administration, who doesn't give a shit about the citizens, nor does Greg Abbott.
And then days after talking about who God blesses, you might remember Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz's epic faceplant on a very friendly podcasting atmosphere. Tucker Carlson put this post up. Ted Cruz, in his evangelical preacher voice says, God will bless those who bless Israel. 2 weeks later, this happens in his home state while Ted Cruz is on vacation in Greece. And I just want to remind everybody that everybody hates Ted Cruz. And when he was in Cancun during the power outages, his neighbors were sending copies of text messages to the press about how much they all hated him. And so this is the danger of having these MAGA Christian politicians. Governor Abbott said stuff like, there's no question that the prayers halted the flooding, so it wasn't even worse. Ted Cruz is saying, if you bless Israel, God will bless you. I mean, this is just Iron Age, crazy ass thinking, but it hits hard in the MAGA base. All of this MAGA Christian shit hits so hard with them. And it's just, we live in the modern era and you have people clinging on to this Iron Age religion. But Ted Cruz is so culpable in all of this because he is a MAGA Christian. He is a corporatist to his core. He is a terrible husband. I mean, that's just an aside, but I mean, Donald Trump called his wife ugly, and he, stands up at the Republican National Convention. God bless Donald Trump. And I guess this hits hard MAGA, all of this hypocrisy and just like blind loyalty, like blind loyalty to Israel, blind loyalty to your religion, blind loyalty to Trump. I guess it hits hard, but the rest of the nation, we're not fucking stupid. It's simple. We live in Oklahoma where we have tornadoes all the time, and emergency services, meteorologists funded to know where the storms are coming from when they're developing. You can wake up at 8 a.m. and the meteorologist can say, we're looking like at around 3 o'clock today, the conditions are going to be perfect for massive tornadoes. So then okay, I'm going to be weather aware all day. They would have known that we have a buildup of potential flooding here and could have evacuated all of the Guadalupe River to the people, especially in these camps, to get these people in higher grounds. But they don't do it. And why don't they do it? Here's one final headline. Ted Cruz ensured Trump's spending bill slashed weather forecasting funding. Senator on vacation abroad while Texas was hit by deadly floods, a disaster worsened by forecasting cuts. So here's what I have to say to MAGA Republicans. I don't know. I would think if you value life, that we shouldn't defund these types of services? Or is it just suck up to billionaires and suck up to Donald Trump and make sure we subsidize, Jeff Bezos so that he doesn't have to pay taxes, even though he uses the roads with all of his Amazon delivery trucks a lot more than we do? Suck up to Israel because they support Ted Cruz and other politicians. And somehow we're going to get this imaginary blessing from God because we sucked up to Israel. I mean, are people this fucking stupid in this country is what I'm asking. Are we really this fucking dumb that we have to sit here and have a conversation about something that was preventable? I mean, we're the richest country in the world and we're cutting weather services, and little kids going to summer camp are dying. I mean, is this fucking real? And in Trump's America, it is. And you have dipshits like Ted Cruz. God bless Donald Trump. God bless Israel. We're all going to get blessings. Well, you know what? I bet there's a bunch of fucking parents waking up this morning that done everything right. They voted, they prayed, they paid their taxes, and they still get dicked over by these lying ass politicians. It makes me fucking sick.
It's so gross. And I think the answer to your question is yes, we are that dumb, because here's a fundamental thing that we always have to remember. Christianity is patriarchal. So all these white men, and you can't be black, you can't be Hispanic, you have to be white in their eyes, even though Jesus was brown. But you have to be white and you have to be a man. So everybody else is secondary, and they're primed to believe all of this shit because it is frowned upon to have critical thinking. It is frowned upon to take care of the poor, because despite what they say the Bible teaches, they're used to their pastors grifting. So Donald Trump is the perfect vessel for all of that. So the reason we're in this awful predicament that we are is because these evangelical Christians have been primed by their religion to believe bullshit and that white men can solve all our problems.
And I guess Pump's, you're exactly right, because that's why at the top of the story, the Turning Point guy, Charlie Kirk, says he has to blame the black person. A bunch of white people died. So who can we blame? It can't be the white Christians. It's got to be the DEI person. And I just hope that everybody is so fucking tired of this political party's excuses for their breathtaking incompetence. Okay, that's all we have right now. We'll see you all later.